Welcome to Minority Focused. I'm your host, Jimmy Moore. And I'm telling you, you gotta get more involved or become more knowledgeable of the fantastic things that Paducah 2 has to offer. Paducah 2, in particular, the Clemens Fine Arts Center, of which Gail Robinson Butler is the director. You wouldn't believe some of the good stuff that Gail helps to bring to this school and to this community, especially since the coming month is Black History Month.
Yes.
You've lined up some special stuff for all of us.
That is right. That is
What's
right.
up? What's up?
February 9th, Harlem Gospel Choir from New York City, actually, well, Harlem. It will bring 9 of their most talented singers and 2 accompanists to WKCTC on Saturday night, February 9th at 7:30 p.m. It is going to be truly not only an amazing show, but I believe an amazing experience.
Right. I've seen and heard some outstanding gospel choirs at a number of churches in Paducah.
Oh, yeah.
With no slight on their abilities and how good they sound. You got to come check this out. You got to see this.
Yes.
People are famous, aren't they?
These people are very famous. Just a little history on Harlem Gospel Choir. They've been touring and together performing for 25 years. They were started by a man named Alan Bailey, and right now there are 60 members of the choir, but in order to reach more people, they send out on their tours 9 people. You would probably have to go to New York or Washington, D.C., where they've performed for President Obama. Yankee Stadium, they performed for Pope Benedict the 16th, I believe, and 60,000 fans. So they've been on many television shows. They've shared the stage with people from, it's just amazing who they've been on stage with. They've been on stage with many, many different kinds of artists, from country artists to jazz and blues. Diana Ross. They were performed at the Michael Jackson tribute in Times Square in New York City. Wow. So these guys have been around. They were also the first gospel choir, period, to perform at the Lincoln Center.
Right. Right.
And they also were the first gospel choir to tour Siberia and China, and I put my cheat sheet away, so help me here. What were you're looking at yours. What were the other 2 countries?
Well, they've got Romania, Serbia, Bulgaria,
and China.
Wow, that's awesome.
Right.
Think what it means to, if you've got a dynamite 60-member choir, that's totally awesome, to send 9 of them out to represent.
Right.
And they represent as well as they do.
Yes.
As the 60 members.
Well, you got to hear them. I played you some YouTube video when we were in my office before the show. So you got to hear them, and if you want to hear them at home, all you have to do is Google Harlem Gospel Choir video, and it will give you plenty to look at, and just give you a taste, a small taste.
Yeah, check it out.
Because there's nothing like a live performance.
For sure. Mention too, Nelson Mandela.
Yes, yes. They did perform for him, as well as Pope Paul, the 4th, 5th?
Second.
And it's just really an amazing thing. I mean, they've been on all the network television stations. They tour internationally. In fact, they're considered to be the ambassadors of African American culture.
Right. And this is no triviality. They are in or very near around Harlem.
Oh, yes, yes. This 60-member choir comes from many churches in the Harlem area, right, and that surrounding boroughs of New York.
Right. I think I'll say the majority of Black Americans will never see Harlem. So many of us have no idea its history. Bill Clinton's got an office, put his office there.
Now,
Ex
see, I
President Bill
didn't know
Clinton has
that.
an office in Harlem now. That's
I
where
didn't know that.
he
Actually, I
practices
was
there.
in New York last January, and there's a lot going on in Harlem. You know, there's a lot of good things going on in Harlem, I understand. And I didn't have time to go look at it. I did see it on the taxi driver was giving me my tour on the way back to the airport. And we drove that way. And, you know, he said there were a lot of good things that were happening right now in the Harlem area. So I think things are looking up. And I think that, you know, the Cotton Club, that is so rich
Famous
in
Cotton
history, the Cotton Club in Harlem. And actually, that was one of the finest concerts that the choir ever did, according to their organizer, Mr. Bailey, was at the Cotton Club
Right. That
25
is,
years ago.
That is
So,
totally awesome.
yes, it is. It is.
Start to say it's something, a place that a lot of us won't see. I'm going to make it a point to put that on my bucket list to walk the streets of Harlem. You know, it seems almost as important as like going to Africa.
It
For
does.
some reason, it has that same.
My father had a philosophy that it was always great to go see other countries, but you really needed to learn more about your own. So as a result of that, I have probably at least been through most of the states in the United States. Not all of them.
I understood once upon a time that Southside Paducah was along the same lines as Harlem. All black, everything available, everything imaginable that you need was in that particular area. And places change, but Harlem has maintained its name, its history,
Right.
and all of that. There are
There's a lot of great musicians
sure
came out of
no
Harlem.
ifs, ands, or buts about
A lot
it.
of them, in addition to Harlem Gospel Choir.
It's a place to start. It was a place to be. You know,
There was a lot happening, you know, and people, things were different then too.
Yeah.
So what I want people to get from our performance or from their performance here on February the 9th is I want them to look at how central the church is and was to that Harlem culture that you're talking about. You know, that was very important. It was much of their social activity revolved around that. Much of their cultural activity revolved around that. So I want people not only to come to be entertained, I want them to come and be educated as well.
For sure. A lot of people don't know. You mentioned the people who, the famous people, the outstanding American people whose careers originated in Harlem.
Right.
A lot of people don't know that. The congressman, I believe, Adam Clayton Powell, for example, was from Harlem, but was also a minister and was the pastor of a church there for many, many years. The church is often thought of as the backbone of any community. It's supposed to get you off on the right foot, whether you stay on it or not. The church is where you get your basics. You got some other stuff too. What else is?
Oh, we have a lot of things going on here at the college to celebrate Black History Month, and one of my other favorites is Marvegas All Stars. And this is a whole different kind of setting. You know, if you come to see Harlem Gospel Choir, they'll be on the stage, you'll be sitting in the seats in the theater because I hope the theater is full. If you come to the Backstage Pass featuring Marvegas All Stars, we will set the stage up as a coffee house, which means there'll be tables and chairs. We'll be selling desserts. We won't, but there will be someone who will be catering desserts and coffee and, you know, sodas and water and things like that. It's a real family-friendly event. Really kind of laid back. You can come in your jeans and your tennis shoes and just listen to some really good music. Marvegas All Stars is a larger group than what you will see here because it's a very intimate acoustic kind of set that they'll do here. And Stephen Keane is a wonderful singer, and he'll have a guitarist, a bassist, and saxophone. So you're going to hear everything from blues, Motown, some classic rock, and I've heard these guys, I've seen them perform. When I was a mere child, I produced the Paducah Summer Festival, and they played for me down there. And they are some amazing musicians, and to be sitting right there in front of them. We actually built another stage on the stage where the band plays, and then the audience is just sitting out like if you were in a coffee house or a club.
Well, just reminded me that there was I grew up down in Hickman, Kentucky. I went to Fulton County school, high school, and there was a group. One year there was a group of young men, all black, that played instruments in the band at Fulton County High School in their band. But on weekends, they would all gather their instruments at a house, one of their parents' houses, and do jazz.
You know, that's coming back.
Improv.
That is coming back. I just heard on the Today Show yesterday that that is coming back. In New York, there is, and I honestly can't remember her name, but she's really involved in the jazz world. And she is opening her home. It's a very large home, but she is opening her home, and she's actually, they're doing small jazz concerts like that. People are coming in and jamming, and, you know, they have food, and it's like $20 to go. And I thought, wow, that's a really cool idea.
Sure, because if you play an instrument and you know it, then you can do that. Because all it takes is knowing your instrument and what it'll do.
Well, and you know, yeah, and you really have to, you have to feel the music to just sit down and jam with a lot of people, though. You know, so most of the people probably know each other and have played together before. But that's a concept we try to do here in this Backstage Pass series for our writers' night. And sometimes it works, and sometimes it doesn't. But you know, it's always fun and worth trying.
I've always taken pride in not being musically naive or narrow-minded, open to all.
Yeah, I try to like all of it. You know, I like some more than others, but my music appetite continues to grow, and the menu gets broader.
I guess
you know?
I can do anything but original Japanese. I can't understand it. I mean,
Well,
I just can't understand it. Maybe if I knew what they were doing, I would, but that's the only, everything else is like wide open. I like it all.
Well, you know, everything is relative. It's all in the watcher, in the beholder, as the old line goes. But that's why there's so many styles of music. And one thing that we're going to be doing here, talking about styles of music, I told you we probably weren't going to talk about this, but here we go. On March the 9th, exactly a month after Harlem Gospel Choir, there's a whole different kind of music coming. It's called String Fever, and it's 4 string players. They're all family members, 3 brothers and a cousin. They're the Broadbent family. Have all these unique electric stringed versions of new versions of string instruments. And it is going to be an amazing concert. And that is in the Clemens Center. It's one of the main stage events. And you know, the tickets for our shows are $25 for adults and $15 for children. Backstage Pass is $6 at the door. So, you know, and everything we sell to eat is $2. $1 for a cup of coffee and a drink, and $2 for a dessert or a snack. So part of our mission is to provide an opportunity for anybody who wants to come and see the arts, the ability to do that. Because we also have some phenomenal visual art exhibitions going up all year. Our first one opens, well, this will be over, so I can't say the date. But go to www.artsinfocus.org and check it out, because we have we change exhibits about every 6 weeks.
And all that you do, all that's scheduled for over a period of time is there. You can go to the computer there.
Yes, and in that handy dandy little book that we have that we're looking at, anybody that doesn't have access to the internet may call us at 270-534-3212, and we'll be happy to mail you a brochure or give you information.
Say a number again.
270-534-3212. That's our box office number. And somebody will answer the phone or call you back.
That's a great thing. A great thing to expose yourself to. Like people, few people are aware of that. I shouldn't say that. Everybody might be aware of that. Opera is the epitome of voice. It's the epitome a voice. Whether you like rap, country, jazz, whatever.
It takes a very special talent.
Voice. Yes, it does. But the whole point is, can you hear that? Are you aware of that? The variety. You can't say you're a music lover, but cross off this and this and this and this and this. There's a guy that hosts a show on OWN. His name is Lester something or other.
You've lost me.
There's a show that's called ID. And it comes on one of the Oprah channels, I think. And Lester somebody that also does the news from time to time for Tom Brokaw, I saw a few nights ago playing a bass. Dum, 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 dum,
Oh, yeah. Isn't he on the Today Show?
had no idea.
I think
I don't think it was on the show. It was about something else.
Right.
But there he was playing a bass, and you had no clue that he could. That he was about this.
There's a lot of people that are, that don't know what we do here. They'll say, we didn't know you did that.
Exactly.
Well, as Paducah Junior College, as Paducah Community College, and now as WKCTC, we are doing probably 24 arts events in the Clemens Center a year. And that's, that's counting the art exhibitions, and we also have several things that we do for the students as well. We are going to have a diversity speaker coming soon to celebrate Black History Month. We'll do Chinese New Year celebration in the Student Center, and these things happen at 11 o'clock on certain Wednesdays because students have that period free. There's a place to have lunch, and now we have a small stage area, and so they can come in and listen to music or listen to a speaker. There's some spoken word happening toward the end of, let's see, it's actually February 27th at 11 on a Wednesday in the Student Center. And I believe Samuel Hawkins II is going to be one of the performers.
I would expect no less.
And he's really
Excellent.
excellent.
I've never seen anybody do it like he.
Yeah, he's really good. He's really good.
I remember some pretty lengthy poems, here and there, one or two.
Well, the interesting thing about Samuel is he doesn't write it down. I know. Ever.
I've heard.
I said that's a sin.
Heard.
You have to write that down. Yeah. You really need to write that down and give it to some people.
And he may go on 5, 6 minutes with.
Well, what I enjoy about Samuel's work is that he speaks on really relevant topics. Right. You have to listen. I heard him do one very recently about women and their perception of their own looks and their own body, and who were they really trying to please by starving themselves. And I don't remember half of it, a third of it, but if you have the opportunity to hear Samuel,
very talented.
Please
He's often
do.
at
and you can have an opportunity on that day, on February 27th at 11 here.
Point being that there is so much going on that
right.
people just don't.
Right, and if you're interested in the Civil War era, Barry Craig, one of our professors here, we could call them Matheson Mondays, and they happen in the library, will be speaking about Andrew Jackson Smith, who was a Black Civil War soldier, and that's really interesting too.
Right.
We did a play here years ago, or we didn't do it, but we brought a play in called The Buffalo Soldiers. Yeah. So, it's a really interesting topic, and
it is.
A lot of interesting information.
It's just this is an awesome station. Folks, y'all don't know what's happening.
Well, it's the whole college.
Yeah,
it takes,
of course,
it takes.
But there are a very select few people. Like I mentioned often the fact that only 4 or 5 people are directly involved with what we're doing this instant. Sometimes fewer.
Exactly.
Sometimes only 1 or 2 people are
exactly.
doing
I have a full-time staff of 3, and then I have several part-time people who do specific functions here, and then an assistant technical director who's here for 20 to 30 hours a week. But to do the number of things that we do, it takes a lot more people than that. So fortunately, they're all willing to help out. The guys in this television station have many times helped Todd, our technical director, move platforms. So everybody jumps in. It's a great place to be.
I really no idea how you do what you do.
Which part?
Well, for example, if there's something that you think would be of interest at the college or for the community, step one.
Step one is finding it. And I find it by, after doing this for as long as I've been doing this, you develop a network of agencies and artists that you are familiar with and that you work with. And then we go to conferences. We have booking and professional development conferences twice a year that are either regional or national. And then there's also a group of Kentucky arts presenters who do the same kind of thing that I do. And we meet and we talk about things. So if it's good, we all know it. And if it's not so good, we all know it. Right. But at the booking conferences, you actually can see showcases of artist works. And they're only 15 or 20 minutes. And they're all over whatever city you happen to be in. If you're in New York, there's an opportunity to see over 3,000 artists in 20-minute showcase.
I'm thinking, like a lot of things, if there's something that you want to bring here, some group or whatever, that it would be good that if it's there somewhere in close proximity. Say, for example, if the group's in St. Louis, then we can make this.
We call those routed dates.
Right.
Routed dates, which means if they're in St. Louis and they're going to Nashville, what a great stop I am. Yeah. Or if they're in Chicago and they're going south, I'm another good stop. Yeah. Paducah is a really great location to be for picking up some good acts. In fact, in April, here we go again, down the road, we're bringing in New York City's The Acting Company, and they're doing Of Mice and Men. Right. They are phenomenal. I mean, Kevin Costner does their commercials for them. Right. He is an alumna of The Acting Company. They're also take shows out on the road, and so this year they will be here and they will be doing Of Mice and Men. But they'll also be doing a master class on Monday for our students and other area students who would be interested in doing it. Now, a master class in acting by New York City's The Acting Company is a rare opportunity. And guess how much it costs, Jimmy? It's free.
Okay.
To a limited number of people. The performance, of course, has the same ticket price we talked about, $25 and $15, but the master class is free. And I'm able to bring them here because they're routed. They're trying to get from one spot to the next.
I see. If there was something in particular that someone, I'll say of consequence, were to suggest to you that they thought and that you agreed would be good to bring here, outside the realm that you just mentioned, would it be really, really super difficult for you?
Well, it depends on what you mean by outside the realm.
Well, what you just mentioned, the circuit, would you?
Oh, yeah, no, that's not impossible. Harlem Gospel, I was their first. I mean, I already have booked a show for next season, and I'm not going to tell you what it is. And it's, but, I'm one of the first. I mean, actually.
You got connections all over the country, do you? I mean.
Pretty much, you have
coast
to.
To coast? Yes.
I book from agents in New York, in California, in Massachusetts, in Virginia. One of my, the String Fever, they're all from the United Kingdom. And so I love working with their artist management because I really like talking to him because he has such a great accent, so, but yeah, you have to know which ones of those people, first of all, have quality performers on their roster, and that can save you money by knowing that. And then they have to know you. They have to begin to know you. And they all know me, and we know, yeah, you're going to wait till something's coming your way. Because I want to bring as much quality performance here as I can, because that's what I think Paducah deserves. That's what I think our region needs. And, I also want to do things that other people aren't doing. We all work together. I work with Brian at the Carson Center. I work with Michael at the Market House. So we're not all doing the same thing. Right.
That's great. I hadn't thought about that connection until this moment.
Oh no, we talk regularly.
Of course, that's how little I know about what you do.
Yeah, we talk regularly, and then we talk with other people in Kentucky who are bringing performers in, because sometimes you can write grants on specific artists if that program they're doing can contain educational components and that kind of thing.
And it varies so greatly. I've seen a couple of things that have gone on, you know, out here.
Yeah, I'm kind of all over the map.
I know, and it's great. You know,
And
I think
in
it's really-
March, this is totally different. We've been conducting a one book, one campus, one community read all year long since like the fall. We started talking about it. The author has been booked for almost 2 years now. And so we've been working on this and talking about it. We've done this. This will be our third big one book, one community read, where we encompass the entire community and partner with the McCracken County Public Library, the McCracken County School System, the Paducah School System, McNet Library Network, our own library, and other people on our campus. And we're bringing in Jeanette Walls, who's a New York Times best-selling author. The read this year was her second book, Half Broke Horses, which is about her grandmother, an amazing woman who grew up in, you know, Depression era America.
We just got a couple of minutes left to go here, Gail. I hope I'm not putting anybody on the spot. But the thing they do where they take kids on field trips and to all fantastic places, could one of the shows be like a field trip thing that a school would do or could do?
Actually, Jeanette Walls is going to be a field trip. She's doing a special presentation at 9:30 on March 14th, which is a Friday, for high school 9 to 12th grade students. And to hear an author of her caliber speak and be able to ask them questions for somebody who might think, oh, I might could be a writer. But they, you know, but I don't, you know, being a writer, is that really cool? Well, maybe if they hear somebody like Jeanette Walls, who obviously is pretty cool, she has 2 best-selling books, could turn things around.
You mentioned the 3 people that are connected and talk to each other and what have you. I know 2 out of the 3 are about everybody from little bitty ones to us old peoples. I spoke for myself now. I didn't speak for you when I said some old people. But it's something for everybody from time to time.
That's what we all try to do.
It is.
You know, I mean, and we all know who does what best.
Exactly.
I mean, you know, obviously I can't bring in the helicopter from Miss Saigon. We're not big enough. But Brian can do those kind of shows at the Carson Center.
Gail, thanks a lot. We got to do this more often.
Yeah, maybe we're going to do it
I
next
mean,
month.
I'm not kidding. I'm really not.
I'm not
Thank you
either.
so much for doing this. You know,
You're welcome.
I
It was
really
fun.
appreciate it. Hope everybody perked up.
Harlem
interested.
Gospel Choir, February 9th, 7:30 p.m. Get your tickets now.
Get your
And
tickets.
you can do that. We gave you the numbers earlier in the show.
Ta-da. All the things that the whole thing about growing, I think, is adding. So add something to this Black History celebration. Do what we do, but add something. For Minority Focus, I'm Jimmy Moore.